Right, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And you know, you got this situation coming up with this nuclear deal, and you know, Esau just showing that he's the devil. You know, his way is the way of confusion, chaos, covetousness, lies, deceit, treachery, and mischief, you know. And this man, he will do whatever it takes to gain. And that's really all you know, what it's all about for him. It's not about righteousness, it's not about equity, it's not about justice, it's not about honor. It's pure and simply about gain. And this man's, as the scriptures say, his desire is as hell, man, and he cannot be satisfied. This guy will only want more. That's why you can't have peace with him. You can't make deals with him, because he's always going to want more. Now, they made this nuclear deal with Iran, and now they're going back out of the deal, and they keep running around. Trump keeps running around talking about how it's a bad deal, but they really can't detail in what way the deal is bad. It's just a bad deal, because ultimately they don't want to have the deal. They don't want peace. They want an excuse to go to war with Iran, you know, to try and paint Iran as the villain in the story, and they're the hero, so they can go in there and achieve their agenda, which has nothing to do with truth and justice and peace. It's all to do with achieving their own wicked agenda, man, towards the new world order, man, and their hegemony over the earth. All right, and you're gonna see that. And they got this guy John Kerry, who was part of one of the ones who brought forth the deal. They got him basically running around, and apparently he's undermining Trump and U.S. diplomacy by trying to shore up the deal. But he's controlled opposition, man. That's what's called giving cover. He's just giving cover to Trump, so Trump can do what he has to do without proper opposition. All right. So now they're going to paint Kerry as the bad guy in the news, as you're going to see, and Trump is the good guy because it's a bad deal, you know. But they're not even detailing to the people in what way it's a bad deal. And even if Iran is seeking out to get nuclear weapons, you know, what's the big deal? There's many nations that have nuclear weapons, including America. You know, why is it such a big deal? Because it's not really about nuclear weapons. It's about American hegemony, the so-called white man, and his lust for substance. So let's hear this, and then we're gonna get some scriptures on mischief, because that's all the so-called white man works, is mischief in the earth.
Secretary of State John Kerry reportedly negotiating behind the scenes. Joining us now is Christian Whiten, former senior advisor in the Trump and Bush 43 administrations. All right, Christian, I guess they call this shadow diplomacy. I was blown away that an individual American citizen trying to keep the Iranian nuclear deal alive.
It's pretty appalling conduct for a former Secretary of State. You know, it's one thing if John Kerry were asked at a public venue if he thinks we should stay in the deal, which he orchestrated, bad deal, or not. But to actually go and do...
They're going to keep pushing it out. It's a bad deal. But they're not explaining to no one why the deal's bad. It's just bullshit, man. You know what I mean? Esau is the devil, man. You watch all these different news programs, you can see the propaganda. It's a bad deal, it's a bad deal. Trump is trying to get a good deal. Trump ain't trying to get no good deal. Trump knows exactly what he's doing, man. They're positioning themselves for to set Iran up, and that's all it is.
Kerry did to meet with the Iranian foreign minister. This is the chief diplomat from our biggest adversary in the Middle East. He met with the Germans and the French as well to lobby against the position that is the United States position.
So where do we go from here? Initially, when this news broke, I saw a lot of things, reports of perhaps a violation of the Logan Act. This is a term that comes up from time to time. What exactly happens to John Kerry, or is he allowed to freelance like this?
He'll probably get away with it, unfortunately. I think he should be prosecuted under the Logan Act. Not that it's a good law. It's 218 years old. No one's been convicted of it. But they threw this at Mike Flynn as part of the effort at the Justice Department to take down the new administration, implying that because he hadn't quite entered office yet, that his interactions with foreign diplomats violated this law that John Adams signed into law. And, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If a law applies to Republicans, it ought to apply to Democrats as well.
Meanwhile, we're seeing within Iran itself a lot of upheaval, right? You had that real big attempt earlier in the year. There's a tremendous amount of social unrest. And I think this puts the Iranian government and the heads... A
lot of that social unrest is nothing more than CIA and Mossad agents fostering social unrest within Iran. And that's what this devil does. He goes in with his secret agencies and pays off certain disgruntled or disenfranchised groups within the country to foster chaos. That's what these devils do. Mischief. And they've been doing it for years, man. All you got to do is do your research and how America has been funding terrorist organizations within Iran. And even this guy on the right is going to say that that's the best thing to do. Showing you these people are the devil, man.
Ayatollahs in a seriously awkward position because people aren't chanting necessarily death to America. They're chanting death to the Ayatollah.
It's amazing, and the bloom is off the rose, to use another metaphor, from that 1979 revolution. The people in Iran want modernity. They do not want theocracy and clerical rule.
How does he know what the people in Iran want? They want modernity. So, and then you devils are going to be the ones to give them modernity. What do you mean by modernity? You mean suicide rates off the charts, murder rates off the charts, homosexuality, lesbianism, feminism, the destruction of the household, your children on drugs, your children on STDs, everyone on prescription drugs, depressed, bipolar, or all hosts of mental deficiencies, every form of fucking disease which isn't even written in the book. They don't even have a name for it. They just call it chronic condition. That's the modernity that this guy's talking about. Oh, I guess, and meanwhile, while you're giving them all that modernity, you can take all their resources, right? Stamp devils, man. Mischief.
Donald Trump was very quick out of the gate to support the people in Iran who were challenging their government.
Because he cares, he supports and he cares about the people in Iran, just like they cared about the people in Iraq, just like they cared about the people in Libya. It's a damn lie. They don't care about these people, man. Libya was the best country in Africa. They destroyed it. They destroyed it because they wanted that oil. And they didn't want Gaddafi bringing the so-called African nations together in one economic bloc and having independency, man, from the West. All right? Start doing their own thing. Start moving away from the dollar, having their own gold currency to trade their resources. So guess what? They killed Gaddafi in the name of the people. Paid off a bunch of mercenaries to go in there and come up against his government. Here it is. Gaddafi's people didn't like him, but Gaddafi's giving them all AKs. You morons, man.
President Obama didn't really do that. And that's an important part of the president's Iran policy, the strategy, which we may see change. Come the 12th, he either will get out of the Iran deal or issue another extension.
What about our European partners? We know that both Angela Merkel and Macron, they left. They came to Washington. They made their pitch. They both left, and it felt like they had accepted the idea that maybe this deal would look different. But I understand they're still negotiating, or at least asking the White House to make changes to it rather than dump it completely.
Right. It's sort of unclear, though, what the Iranians have already said they're going to reject any change to it. So this seems to be a paper shuffling effort. So, they want an extension. They want more time. I'm not sure what they could possibly accomplish in that. On the other hand, President Trump is always negotiating, and we have equities with the Europeans on how little they spend on defense and other trade problems. So he may choose to throw him a bone here and apply pressure somewhere else. I still put my money on him getting out of the deal, but no one really knows until it's done.
So let's say we get out of the...
He's going to get out of the deal. I'm 99% sure they've already made the decision that they're gonna come out of the deal, and they're gonna make it look like they're probably gonna offer some kind of stupid ass deal where Iran don't get their money back, all right? Because the end part of the deal is America's supposed to release, I think it's about $6 billion in funds that is actually Iran's money. See, people forget that these people, man, when they put these sanctions, they freeze different accounts and they take these people's money. Like Libya, they froze Gaddafi's accounts. Where's all that money, man? Where's all that money now? These devils have taken it, man. These people are oh man, do you know what I'm saying? So they're either going to outright just say to hell with the deal, or they're going to try so-called renegotiate the deal, and it's going to be a bad deal. They're going to make it a bad deal that obviously Iran is going to say no to, and then they can say, well, see, look, Iran didn't want to negotiate. They didn't want to, and they can paint Iran as being the villain in the situation. That's how this devil operates.
Deal, ultimately, if we get back into a new deal created by President Trump, what would it look like?
You know, the getting out of the deal would remove the straitjacket that's put on us. You know, we were applying very, very successful, effective financial sanctions on Iran before John Kerry came and dialed that back.
What that means is they were squeezed. They had Iran under financial siege, which ultimately the only people that was hurting was the people. Now, the reason they do this, when they put these sanctions on different nations, they know that these sanctions don't actually harm the ruling class or of that nation. What they're doing is, by putting those sanctions on the nation, the people that's ultimately going to feel the brunt of that is the common person. They're the people that's going to be starving and in the streets. And what they're hoping is that they can use that situation just like they used it in the French Revolution of the disenfranchised poorer classes and turn them against their elites. And then so once they send their agents in to utilize that negative energy that they've created through their sanctions to overthrow those people, they could put in a puppet that they want, right? And move forward. And then they can paint it as if, oh, it was liberation, it was a revolution, when they set the whole thing up from the very beginning. And what's the cost of it all? Blood and chaos and desolation for the people in the transition. And they did that in Iraq. When they had sanctions in Iraq, it was the Iraqi people that suffered. Sanctions on Libya, it's always the case. And the same things been happening in Iran. It's not going to be the Ayatollahs and that are suffering. It's the common people. And then, like he's saying, they're putting the pressure on to try and get the people to turn against their leaders, man. This man is the devil, man.
For this terrible deal. So going back to that and continuing to give voice to the people in Iran who want change, put the regime on the defensive instead of...
So basically, squeeze the country, right? Hurt the people, and hope that the people then turn on their leaders, man. That's the nature of this
being on the offensive against Israel and against us, frankly. If you cause problems for them at home, that would be a better policy.
See, and that's what they do. They cause problems, meaning that's what the CIA and all these guys... See, they try and make it look like the CIA and all that are running around the world trying to protect America. No, they're not, man. They're running around the world causing chaos in countries. They're either maintaining their power grip over countries through assassinations and bribes and these things, or in the countries where they haven't got full control, they're fostering chaos, man. Assassinations and color revolutions and all these different things so that they can come in the aftermath and take control, man. Weaken the nations. That's what they do. What he's talking about right here is weakening the nations, destroying them, breaking them down so you can come in and take control. Mischief, man. He says it like it's nothing. Like he don't care about the human cost. That shows you he don't care, man.
And Whiten, always appreciate your expertise. Thank you.
Devils,
Thanks.
man. Look, let me get some scriptures, man. All this devil does is cause mischief, man. Now let's get the definition of mischief, man. But they're the proponents of love. They're the people. There we go. Sanctions. Everyone knew the squeeze of death. The sanctions against Iraq they had was actually hurting the common Iraqi people. But guess what? They were still in a better case than when they went to war and destroyed Iraq. They're even worse now than when they were under sanctions, man. This man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. This man is the absolute devil. Now, let's get the definition of the word mischief. The word mischief, now you got playful behavior, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to jump down. Number 2. Harm or trouble caused by someone or something. And that's the nature of the so-called white man. His nature is to just cause mischief on earth, to hurt people, to harm people, to impair people, to damage people, to do things which is at the detriment of people, to cause ill, to trouble. That's what this guy does. He just causes trouble, man. He's a troublemaker. He's just a giant, he's just a big ass troublemaker with loads of money and guns. A person responsible for harm or annoyance. All right? That's how this devil works. That's how this devil operates, man. Mischief, adversely head. All right? From adversely to come to an end. From head. All right? This man, he's a devil that the Bible speaks of, man. So let's get some scriptures on mischief, man. Because that's how this devil works, man. Job 15 and 35, they conceive mischief. Like what they doing with these sanctions, man. And that guy just, yep, let's do it. Put pressure on them on the, mischief, causing, but they're the proponents of love. The Bible says love worketh no ill to his neighbor, man. But according to them, everybody's their neighbor and they love everybody. But all they do is cause mischief, man. Hurt. They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly prepareth deceit. Oh, it's a terrible deal. It's a bad deal. This deal is bad. It's bad. It's a bad deal. And then Benjamin Netanyahu comes out. Yes, we got these documents and Iran is doing this and they're doing that and they're going to blow up the world. And, not too long ago, they were telling us Kim Jong-il was a madman. He's out of control. He's crazy. And then all of a sudden, the guy comes out with a peace deal with South Korea. But I thought he was mad. I thought he was crazy. I thought he was a madman with his finger on the button. That shows you it's all bullshit. This man is filled with lies and deceit, man. How can he be a madman and hold a military truce year after year after year? Something you devils couldn't do. You couldn't hold a truce to save your life. You damn devils. All right, Psalm 7 and 14. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity. Yeah, murder, theft. The list goes on. And he have conceived mischief and brought forth falsehood. That's why when you watch these news programs, man, a lot of what they're doing is just manipulating the people, man, with lies and deceit and false information. That's why he kept saying a terrible deal. It's a bad deal. But they'll never actually come out and in detail, why is it such a bad deal? Damn devils. Absolute devils, man. His mischief shall return upon his own head. That's you devils, man. Your mischief, all this wickedness that you've wrought, everything that you've done, man, it's all going to come back on your own head twofold. One, all this mischief is going to lead you into that World War III, which is going to ultimately lead to your own destruction and enslavement and through the return of Yahweh Shai. And secondly, every wickedness that you've done, you're going to have to pay for it through 1,000 years of slavery anyway. So all the wickedness that you've done, the hurt, the pain, the blood that you've spilled, is all going to come back on your own head, man. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. All right, you devils, man. Psalms 10 and 14. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The Lord's going to requite the mischief of the so-called white man, mainly the mischief that he performs against you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, which are the children of Israel. The poor committeth himself unto thee, thou art the helper of the fatherless. Let's get some more of these mischiefs. Look at this, Psalms 26 and 10. Whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. And isn't that the so-called white man's political system, man? Even though they like to pretend they're so upright. The whole thing is based upon bribes. Okay. Psalms 28 and 3. Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts. And we could run down the list, beginning with the Native American Indians, the recent history of this damn devil, man, over the last 500 years, and shown that that's the way that he rolls. So we're not surprised, man, when this man do some devilry. Psalms 36:4, he deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good, and he abhorreth not evil. Like, this guy, he didn't abhor evil. What he was talking about, going into man's countries and fostering blood and revolution for your agenda, is nothing but evil, man. But it's, you know, he abhors it not. And they sit there and they come up with these intricate foreign policies, man, to get what they want, man. And they don't care how many people got to be destroyed or die for the cause of their bottom dollar, man. Psalms 52:1, to the chief musician Mischief, a psalm of David, when Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul and said unto him, David is come to the house of Abimelech. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, Almighty man? The goodness of God endureth continually. And that guy we were just watching just now was basically boasting.
If we get back into a new deal created by...
Good job, you know, putting the pressure on. You know, you're boasting in that mischief that they were doing against Iran, man. These devils are just out of control, man. All right? No one can live. They can't even live peaceably with themselves. Nobody can't live peaceably with these people. They're nothing more than a free radical agent, the ultimate agent of chaos, man. And the kingdom of heaven is going to be a kingdom of pure order and peace. So guess what? They're going to have to go. They're going to serve their punishment for 1,000 years. And then they're going to have to just be taken out of the earth, because they're nothing more than a source of chaos, man. And we ain't going to have all that chaos in our kingdom. Mischief, wickedness, man. We're going to have decency, man, and order. This dude just start beef for the sake of beef. So just so, you know, this man's crazy, man. Let's see, get some more. So, Proverbs 6:14. Frowardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. Isn't that what that guy was? That's what they do, man. The CIA and all, and they do that among our people. The CIA, them same tactics he's talking about they use against Iran, they do that against you Israelites, man. They send in agents and among our people to sow discord, man, among brethren, to weaken them. That's how this devil operates, man. Man. Look at that. Proverbs 24:1. Be not thou envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. That's why don't try and join yourself onto this man. Look, man, don't try and be a part of this man and anything he's about, man. Because he's only about one thing and one thing only, and that's mischief and wickedness and evil. When you really break it down, this whole system, everything he does leads to one end, and that's mischief. Even when it appeareth that he seemeth like he's doing good, the end of that good is going to be mischief, man. It's all pre-planned. For their heart studieth destruction, and their lips talk of mischief. All right, and that's this devil, man. I saw that earlier today, man. I was watching it, and I was just like, man, I got to talk about this. But we're almost coming up to the 12th. We're going to see what happens. But whatever does happen is only going to lead the world closer and closer to the inevitable, man, with the prophecy being filled. World War III and the day of judgment and the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. So if that, I'm going to say shalom.